Happy Halloween. Welcome to Movie Humpers. My name is Bob Sham.
I'm Angela.
The sounds you hear may be dogs, and it is time once again for our second annual Halloween Humpfest. 5 days a week. Every weekday is a horror drop every weekday in October.
This is my favorite time of year.
It's fun. Probably our most engagement we get is during this time.
Yeah.
That's the way it was last year. But we're going to pop it off. We're going to start it off right with a movie review six-pack. We do these every once in a while. We did for last year, on Halloween, we dropped a six-pack of the first 6 Halloween movies. And we will be finishing the franchise on Halloween at the end of the month. But we want to start the month off with some six-pack fun by discussing the zombie films of the zombie legend, the man who created the modern zombie trope, the modern zombie horror movie. That's right. George Romero's dead. I mean, he is dead, but we're talking about the movies about his dead, his living dead. 6 movies spanning from 1968 to 2009, I think.
Yes.
He's pretty great. Like, I would say is, for a lot of our six-packs, like with the Halloween last year, it seemed like once we got past 3, things were getting real hairy. And by the end of this one, there's going to be some complaints, some issues. But the initial trilogy that we're going to talk about, the Night of the Living, Dawn of the Dead, Day of the Dead, as good a horror trilogy
as ever there was.
As you could get. These are quality. Most of these are quality movies. And, you know, the tail end of it, the last 3 we discussed happen to be his last 3 movies. He was older. The budget was limited. They were Canadian. But yeah, and to start off Halloween Humpfest right, I brought back the black GQ bucket hat. You might remember from our Future Dystopia talks last August that I wore it all month long. Who knows? I might have popped it on here and there again since then. I can't remember because we're recording things ahead of time. You have to, when you have to discuss 5 horror movies at minimum a week.
Now it stands for Ghoul Quarterly.
That's right. I think out of all these movies, maybe only 1 or 2 of these movies even say the word zombie, and maybe only once or twice do you even hear that.
I don't even recall them saying zombie.
I want to say...
They have different names for them.
Yeah.
They're deadheads, they're ghouls.
I think in either Day of the Dead or Dawn, they might have mentioned the word. I think maybe Day, but I can't quite remember. A lot of these we watched maybe 2.5 weeks ago.
They're so good, how are you going to forget?
So for our movie review six-packs, and we'll get right into it, what we'll do is we'll do this little intro, and then we'll go into the initial trailer for the first movie we're going to watch, Night of the Living Dead from 1968. And then we're going to discuss it on a timer, and we're only doing 6 minutes per movie. And that will be easy by the time we get to the end, but discussing really good ones at the beginning in 6 minutes is going to be challenging. Yeah, that's how it will work. And so, yes, 6 and 1. Without further ado, you want to kick this off?
Yeah.
Night of total terror. Night of the living dead, the dead who live on living flesh, the dead whose haunted souls hunt the living whose bodies are the only food for these ungodly creatures. Of the living dead. A bizarre adventure in fear. An experience in shock more shattering than your strangest nightmare. Night of the living dead. A night with the dead who cannot die. A night of total terror. night. Of the living dead.
Night of the Living Dead from 1968, directed by George Romero, written by John Russo and George Romero. Starring Dwayne Jones, Judith O'Dea, Marilyn Eastman, Carl Hardman. Cinematography by George Romero. This movie cost $120,000 and made $30 million in 1968. This movie was a bit of a phenomenon, and it was highly critically appraised. And when we're talking about each of these movies up to a point, George Romero is talking about a microcosm of America with each movie. And in this movie, the microcosm of America ends up in a house. But this is also the movie where Barbara, who looks a lot like the singer Leslie Gore,
yes,
who's saying "It's my party" and "You don't own me." She is Barbara, and her brother encounter what they call ghouls, and it's that famous line where he's like,
"They're coming to get you, Barbara."
Stop it! You're ignorant.
They're coming for you, Barbara.
Stop it! You're acting like a child.
They're coming for you. Look, there comes one of them now.
He'll hear you.
Here he comes now. I'm getting out of here.
Johnny.
I would love to see this movie in a drive-in, right?
That would be so much fun.
Barbara and her brother get fucking attacked by ghouls. They don't know what's going on. It's just the start.
He's killed. She runs. She ends up wrecking her car and running to the closest house. Comes upon this seemingly abandoned house. And then pretty quickly, Ben arrives. And he assumes she lives there because she's in so much shock she can't talk.
Dwayne Jones as Ben is a black man. And it's pointed casting here. It's not what they would call colorblind casting or woke casting. There's a point. Ben is here and he is capable. He seems to have experience dealing with stuff. I mean, he's used to slack-jawed yokels and maybe talking shit or trying to run them down, right? He's a black man in America in 1968. But also in this house, they discover that downstairs there's a couple and their daughter down there.
And a younger couple as well.
So you got different aspects. You got Barbara, who, by all intents, is just a scared single woman. You got Dwayne Jones as Ben, this single black man who has his head on a swivel, constantly trying to keep things right. And then you have this classic white nuclear family and a young couple, a young 60s couple that are maybe a little more hip. But then you got this classic white nuclear family in the basement, and they're having conflict over whether they should all go into the basement or, as Ben wants them to do, to stay in the main part of the house and secure it and fight to keep the zombies out, because he says if they all come in here, then the basement is just your grave. Like, eventually you're just cornered. It's trapped. Of course, the dad in the basement he's against what Ben is saying.
He thinks he knows what's best for everyone in the situation. He's the father. He's the patriarch. Like, thinks he should be in charge. Very quickly, the younger couple starts looking to Ben as well. The younger guy recognizes that Ben is talking some sense. There's a truck outside. They hatch this plan to try to get the truck across the yard to the gas tank. The problem is the ghouls have now surrounded the house. There was only one in the cemetery where Barbara's brother got killed, but now they're coming from everywhere. These zombies are very just dark eyes.
Very rudimentary, simple. It's people's introduction to what will become popular culture's take on zombies. Mm-hmm. And this isn't a high budget for its time. I mean, 120 grand is a lot in 1968. Very much taken the country by surprise, this movie. Mm-hmm. But as the ghouls are walking and Ben has to negotiate the internalized racism of the people in the house. Also, that couple has a daughter who's sick. Sure enough, she turns into a zombie.
She got bit. Her name is Karen.
Pretty much everyone gets killed here except Ben, but there's roving gangs of good old boys out there shooting zombies. And at the end, they start to approach this house as Ben manages to survive in spite of all the other people around him dying with their own bad choices.
Yeah, so the young couple, when they try to go get the gas, the truck explodes that they're in and they die. Then the little girl becomes a zombie, eats her father, kills her mother, eats her mother. Barbara gets pulled out of the house by her brother Johnny, who is now a zombie. So he shows up and gets her.
Yeah.
So Ben is just trying to wait this whole thing out.
So everyone is dead, and these good old boys are approaching the house.
Let's go check out the house, man.
There's something there. I heard a noise.
All right, Vince, hit him in the head, right between the eyes. Good shot. Okay, he's dead. Let's go get him. That's another one for the fire.
He survives the living dead. A black man in 1968 America. The living are the bigger threat than the dead to Ben. Boy, it seemed like 6 minutes was not enough truly to take in this movie, because this movie is a horror masterpiece.
It really is.
In my opinion, this is 5-star movie.
It is. It is. This is an S-tier movie. This movie is so influential. George Romero created zombies.
He created the zombie movie, the zombie horror.
Movie. Yes.
Starting off our 6-pack, you'll see Night of the Living Dead by George Romero, S-tier movie from 1968. In between the movies, Mulholland Drive by David Lynch and Out of the Past by Jacques Tourneur. Some good movies. It's in good company. Now let's get into our next film, Dawn of the Dead.
In 1968, George Romero brought us Night of the Living Dead. It became the classic horror film of its time.
Not that room! Not that room!
Now, George Romero brings us the most intensely shocking motion picture experience for all times.
It gets up and kills. The people it kills get up and kill. This situation must be controlled before it's too late. They are multiplying too rapidly.
Dawn of the Dead.
Meet me on the roof at 9 o'clock. Getting out.
I don't believe
We're
it.
gonna
What?
get out in the chopper. We've got to survive. Somebody's got to survive.
They kill for one reason. They kill for food. They eat their victims.
Imagine, if you will, that something has gone terribly wrong.
Shoot it, man.
Now, accept the fact that there's no escaping the horrible consequences. George Romero brings back the dead. Night of the Living Dead has ended. Dawn of the Dead is here.
We must not be lulled by the concept that these are our family members or our friends. They are not. They will not respond to such emotions.
Operator dead. Post abandoned. We may never get out of the room. It's everywhere. What the hell is it?
Looks like a shopping center, one of those big indoor malls.
What are they doing? Why do they come here?
Some kind of instinct, memory, what they used to do. This was an important place in their lives.
What is it?
We've got a war.
I'm afraid.
We have spawned our own savagery. Soon, it will consume us all. It is a horrible, hauntingly accurate vision of the mindless excesses of a society gone mad.
They must be destroyed on sight.
When there is no more room in hell, the dead will walk the earth.
We are down to the line, folks. We are down to the line.
Dawn of the Dead.
Dawn of the Dead from 1978, directed by George Romero, written by George Romero, starring Ken Foree, David M.G., Scott Reiniger, Galen Ross, cinematography by Michael Gornick, cost $640,000, made $66 million. So each of these movies they're not a continual thread. It's like how each decade is dealing with zombies. And Night of the Living Dead, they said it was like a comet, right? In the 60s. And in the 70s, it feels like this is the zombies. It's been maybe a few months.
Maybe. We start out in a news studio where things have obviously gotten to a fever pitch and people are freaking out. And there's this guy who throughout the movie we get updates from him on where he thinks the zombie apocalypse is going. They definitely are to the point where it's like, what's the point of even being here anymore?
Some folks, they're in a helicopter, right? And we got Francine, Fran Parker, David M.G. Flyboy, and they all converge onto this mall. And the microcosm of America that's explored here is consumerism, a shopping mall. But this is also the funniest.
It's the funniest, the most fun, yeah.
Because it does have a commentary on like the mindless consumerism, but it also plays with the fact that if you were by yourself in a shopping mall that was fully lit up and fully open, that you would have fun. I feel like this is how a lot of Americans do live their life. Like, they maybe understand that this isn't really an amazing thing, but they can still embellish in it at the same time. We also have another black lead in this movie, Ken Foree.
We find out that the woman in this group is pregnant. And
isn't he in like a militia? Like, we got militias popping off, like small ones or something.
I don't remember him specifically talking about it, but he knows guns. He knows tactics. He is taking care of business. There's 4 of them, and the woman is pregnant. They set up a whole little house. They're there for months before the shit goes down. And the crazy thing about this one is, you know that there are zombies outside, but when the shit goes down, it's not because the zombies got in, because they have fortified themselves very well. The reason the shit goes down inside the mall is because this fucking gang of bikers
that rolls up later
and says, oh, they got a sweet deal, we're gonna take it. Also, they have a helicopter on the roof.
There's certain points where it's like we're low on gas, and then the helicopter pilot is following them around as they take trucks to block entrances and stuff. There's a few things that seem like the continuity's a little weird. But the complete fun and terror of being in the mall is the one that I think this is probably the most popular of all of his movies.
Yes.
And it's easy to see why. But of course, just like in the last movie, the most capable human being in the end, again, Francine is not much better than Barbara in terms of capability here. But she does suffer great loss in very dramatic ways. But Ken Foree, he does end up being the guy.
He's our hero.
No, Fran and him escape at the end.
They do.
Because Fran does get taught how to use the helicopter by her husband.
She learns how to use the helicopter. He had this idea to make a fake wall to block off where they were. So if anyone did come in, they wouldn't be able to find them. But the zombies, one of the zombies is her man.
Yeah.
And so he's trying to get back to her. Because as we start learning in this one, the zombies... This is our first instance of a zombie remembering.
They're still here.
They're after us. They know we're still in here.
They're after the place. They don't know why, they just remember. Remember that they want to be in here.
What the hell are they?
They're us, that's all. There's no more room in hell.
They've lost 2 of their people. He's trying to come back home. He doesn't know what's going on, obviously, anymore, but there's that sense memory. So he's trying to get in. Our main character guy, he is ready to take one for her. He says to her, climb up, get out of here. I don't want to live in this world. If this is what this world is, I don't want to live there. And he's ready to defend her getting out, and then he's going to shoot himself in the head. And in the last second, he realizes, I don't fucking want to die.
Yeah.
And he goes up on the roof and gets in the helicopter with her. And she's almost gone, but she sees him at the last second because now the zombies are crawling up too. It's so good. This one is so good.
Oh, this movie is really good.
I love this one.
And yeah, and also music by Dario Argento and his band
Oh,
Goblin.
hell yeah.
You alright? Shit's really hitting the fan.
Goblin exists without Dario, but he worked with them a lot. Tom Savini does the effects in this one and the next one. The zombies are getting a little better each time, but again, this one is the funniest one. And then they talk about the zombies and why they're there, and it's like they want to go do the last thing that they remember, the thing that they're drawn to the most, and it is the mall. And I think this is... The last movie took place in the Western Pennsylvania,
Yeah, it was
Pittsburgh.
like Pennsylvania. They said everything was happening on the East Coast.
Yeah, like Pittsburgh area. And this one, I think they said they were landing around the Cleveland area near the Great Lakes zones, not too far from there.
Yeah.
Romero went to college in Pittsburgh, so that's why Pittsburgh comes up a lot in his movies. But yes.
Oh man.
Somehow we got through that, and yeah, these are movies, especially these first three. I love all the first three. You really could unpack them more, but also these are movies that have been talked about quite a bit. So.
Absolutely. The first one is brilliant, and I have so much reverence for the first one. The second one is my favorite.
Small continuity issues. I'm nitpicking, but I'm going to give this one a 4.5.
I'm going to give it a 4.75.
Right off the bat, probably our most acclaimed 6-pack so far, and we're only 2 down. Dawn of the Dead by George Romero from 1978. Rests in the S tiers between Come and See and Double Indemnity. It's at least as good as those movies, if not better. And now we move on to Day of the Dead.
First, he created the most frightening film ever made. Then, he took his unique vision of terror one step further. Now, George A. Romero takes us out of the night, beyond the dawn, and into the darkest day of horror the world has ever known. Day of the Dead.
There have to be survivors in Washington.
Oh, my.
They have more sophisticated shelters than this one. There have to be people in those shelters who know about us, who know where we are. With no radio contact, they'll come looking for us.
I said shut up! They can be tricked into being good little girls and boys, the same way we were tricked into it on the promise of some reward to come. What the fuck is wrong with you people? They're dead! They're fucking dead, and you want to teach them tricks?
They have to be rewarded, Captain. Why else will they do what we want them to do?
I don't want them to do anything but drop over! Those are my men in there! That's it. Run, you fucking lunatics.
George A. Romero's Day of the Dead, the most eagerly awaited day in horror film history.
Day of the Dead from 1985, directed by George Romero, written by George Romero, starring Laurie Cardill, Terry Alexander, Joseph Pilato, Sherman Howard. Cinematography by Michael Gornick. Cost $4 million, made $34 million. Day of the Dead takes place in 1985. Again, these movies are not some continual thread. It's like examining microcosms of America in different decades. And this one is, I guess, more of the survivalists. They're in Florida.
They're in the Everglades. And this one, it's definitely been going on for longer.
It's an underground facility, and I forget if I know they're military trained, but are they National Guard? I can't remember. But they run this underground bunker, and in this bunker are some militia dudes that are very overacted in that great 80s way. They're like psychopaths and stuff. But also there's a lady and a couple of pilots who live here, and this lady who... Everyone is saying that this lady is having sex with this guy who's super scared. Everyone's calling him her boyfriend, but this character is obviously gay. And they're compensating for, I think George is compensating for how Barbara was treated or how the women are treated in the first 2 movies by making Laurie Cardill, the main character, to be much stronger, much more level-headed.
Yeah.
But they accuse her of fucking this guy, but this guy is gay. And you can tell she doesn't say, oh, he's my boyfriend. She never says that.
They do talk about them sleeping together, and the plot description that I read did call him her lover. They do reference that.
Don't buy it.
No, I don't need help. I don't need help.
Come on, give me this.
I'm all right. I'm just tired.
You're not all right. You're collapsing from stress. Now let me help.
From stress? We're all collapsing. This whole fucking unit is collapsing, everybody except you.
I know you're strong, all right. So what? Stronger than me. Stronger than everyone. So what? So fucking what?
Regardless, so you've got your military men and you've got this doctor and his assistant, and she's tied more to them. So you've got...
The doctor in this movie is great,
They
too.
call him Dr. Frankenstein.
Yeah, he's fun.
He's brilliant. The thing is that the military men here, my understanding is that they have been stationed to protect the doctor while he's doing his work. So what they are supposed to do is when the doctor needs it, they go and get zombies for him to study.
He's studying them.
He's studying, he's testing them. His thing is he believes that they can be taught to not kill people. He believes that they can be, for lack of a better term, domesticated.
He's got one called Bub who is making strides and is, seems
He's responding.
to be...
Yeah.
Say hello.
Come on, Captain, give me a break, will you?
Say hello to your Aunt Alicia. Say hello, Aunt Alicia. Hello, Aunt Alicia. Hello.
But there's some contention because we never meet him, but their leader has died while this group of the woman and a couple of these guys have been out on their last exhibition. They go out and go to cities to see if they can find anyone who's alive.
So, yeah, George does compensate how he treated Barbara through Laurie, but he makes the gay guy the Barbara character in the movie, essentially.
Yeah.
And no, they don't say he's gay. He's gay. Also, the zombies are getting better and better, and the Tom Savini effects in this one, that's the best part of this movie. There's all kinds of just great gore zombie scenes, and apparently the studio wanted Romero to tone it down a bit, and it just made him go harder. So this is probably the goriest and most grotesque of all the movies, and it's great. There's just these scenes where you see one of the militia dudes just getting dismembered on the... It looks so good. Practical effects. Ain't no CGI. Not in 1985. Not like that. It would all have been stop motion looking anyway.
These movies, this one in particular, is a study in how to do practical effects.
Yeah.
It is so fucking good. You do get these two guys who are not military, like you said, they're pilots. They have created almost an apartment for themselves separate from where everyone else is staying. And there's this part where the guy who has deemed himself in charge of the military is basically completely against these people. They want to leave. They don't want to capture these zombies anymore. They don't want to put their lives in danger anymore. And instead of just leaving...
Yeah, they seem like they could leave at any time.
Well, they don't know how to fly the helicopter, I think. So they got to get, again, our black guy who knows how to drive the helicopter, who is the best person in the movie. They need to get him to come with them. And there's a lot that happens in this, but essentially it comes down to they tell him they're going to kill his friends if he doesn't come with them. And they end up putting the woman and two of the guys out into the area where the zombies are. And they have to fight their way back to the helicopter.
So this movie is contemplating, you got the logic and the compassion of Laurie and the pilots and the main character and the doctor. You understand why they're doing what they're doing. And the military guys are just, they're sexist goons, so you don't really like them like that. They're very over the top. Mm-hmm. But you do understand why they'd want to kill everything. And sitting through these movies, especially near the last ones we talk about, my position is maybe just to kill the zombies, but I do see the importance in studying these and why anyone would.
In a very controlled situation. This felt as though it was getting out of control, and I did understand that part of him wanting to stop what they were doing because he was losing people. Yeah. And it's his people who are risking their lives and getting killed.
And they're coming in through a tunnel because this all connects to an underground. And and a lot of things go wrong, and they try to trap some of the people to get eaten, but they get out and they manage to survive and escape through different... There's a lot of underground shit for some Everglades, Florida. I don't know if the Everglades can really handle this much underground stuff.
Yeah, there should have been some swamps.
Maybe it should have been more North Florida. Are we sure it was Everglades?
That's what, according to Wikipedia.
All the zombies get loose and shit, everything goes to shit. And the doctor, the best character, ends up getting killed. Her gay boyfriend that she's covering for, it's not really her boyfriend. He does act brave near the end, but he ends up getting bit and eaten.
The most interesting part of this one, and I know we've gone over, but we just have to say, is that Bub really was learning. And at one point, he was given a book and he actually opened it and tried to flip through it. Obviously, he's not reading it, but there's the sense memory of knowing how to be a person. When the shit's hitting the fan, he manages to break out of his chains and he goes and finds the doctor who ostensibly is his father, right? He's training him. He goes and finds him and the doctor's dead. So that is when Bub picks up a gun and goes trying to kill everybody else. He's trying to get revenge for this man who was teaching him. So this is, again, another step up. So in the first movie, they're just mindless zombies. Second movie, they are recognizing, I want to do what I used to do. I want to go to the mall. I want to be who I used to be. I remember I need to go through this door to get home. Now, he's actually picking up a gun and remembering how to shoot it.
The only thing I wanted was for Bub to have a seat in the war room that the other militia guy sat in when he's bossing everyone around, to him take his seat as king of the zombies.
Hell yeah.
But John, Sarah, and Bill, the pilots, and the woman played by Lori Cardille, they all escape from the area. Day of the Dead. The effects, magnifique. I've been giving this one a 4.
I'm also giving this one a 4.
Check it out. We call it an easy A. Day of the Dead by George Romero from 85. Is between the Cronenberg movie Crimes of the Future and Dracula, Prince of Darkness by Terrence Fisher. Halloween Humpfest selection from last year. It's at least as good as those movies, if not better. And now we move on to the 2005 film Land of the Dead.
The world as we know it
They must be destroyed.
is no more.
Cities are under siege.
The land of the living has become
Feeding on human flesh.
the land of the dead.
If these creatures ever develop the power to think, to reason,
We're all dead.
In one last outpost,
It was my ingenuity that took an old world and made it into something new.
we have survived.
Rivers protect us on two sides?
I put up the fences to make it safe.
and these fences go all the way across?
Both ways.
But if the living can adapt,
Things are changing. These guys are not just walking.
so can the dead.
It's like they're pretending to be alive.
They're mindless walking corpses. They'll never get across the river.
They're moving toward the city.
There's nothing there, man.
They're communicating. They're thinking.
We're going back to see if we can help.
Trouble?
In a world where the dead are returning to life, the word trouble loses much of its meaning.
We're running out of time.
George A. Romero's Land of the Dead.
Zombies, man. They creep me out.
Land of the Dead from 2005, directed by George Romero, written by George Romero, starring Simon Baker, John Leguizamo, Dennis Hopper, Eugene Clark. A cinematography by Miroslav Bazak. Cost $17 million, made $47 million. This would be the last time Romero got a sizable budget, and this is the first of his last 3 movies.
Also starring Asia Argento.
After Shaun of the 28 Days Later and Shaun of the Dead, zombie movies were starting to make money again, and I think that helped the studio pull the trigger on George to revisit. Mm-hmm. And this movie, it feels similar to the other ones in that it seems to deal with a microcosm of society, or how American society plays out, and it takes place in 2005. It does seem to correlate with the tone, a lot of the tones, not of their era because they're all era specific, but a tone in its current time, early 21st century. And we're dealing with a society. Like, it's maybe been a few years since the zombies came along, and we have a place called the Green, Fiddler's Green or whatever, which is this big office, and the
Dennis
haves,
Hopper is the king.
the haves and the have-nots. So you got impoverished areas, and then you got ultra-rich areas, which are very exclusive. And our main characters... Now, George has made it a point to often not cast big stars, even when he had money. And Simon Baker, he seems like a CW guy. Like, I see him on CW shit all the time. But John Leguizamo and Dennis Hopper, those are probably the biggest stars we will see in any of these movies. And Dennis Hopper plays the evil guy that runs Fiddler's Green. And Simon Baker and John Leguizamo are riding this big RV war machine called Dead Reckoning to go out and grab supplies to bring back to these areas, specifically back to Dennis Hopper, so he can provide for his ultra swank society.
Right. They are not allowed to live in Fiddler's Green, but they work for them. Dennis Hopper owns Dead Reckoning. It's his truck. He funded it. The thing that's amazing about this big, huge RV armored situation is that obviously there's a lot of guns on it, but the thing that they've learned in these however long they've been dealing with this so far is that zombies cannot resist fireworks. So this truck can shoot fireworks. So what they do is they go into a place, they set off the fireworks, they call them flowers. Then all the zombies get hypnotized and they go in, get what they need to get, and get out. But at the beginning of this movie, something has changed. And these zombies...
Now we have black actors in every movie, and they're all survivors, right?
Yes.
And often the most capable person in the movies.
Yes.
The black actor in this movie is the zombie, the main zombie.
They never call him this in the movie, but his name is Big Daddy.
And he is learning. He is remembering how to use weapons. He's also gathering up all these other zombies. He's leading
a revolution of zombies.
And starting to make their way towards the big lights. These last three are all shot throughout Ontario.
They call them deadheads in this one.
Yeah. Or walkers. They call them deadheads in the next one.
Oh, sorry. Yes.
They call them walkers in this one, kind of like they did in Walking Dead.
So ultimately, our main guy, this is his last night. He wants to leave. He wants to go up into Canada. He wants to start a life where there's no people. He just wants to go live on his own. John Leguizamo, he wants him to be the new leader, but John Leguizamo is making a play to go live with Dennis Hopper in the Green.
Didn't you seem like Dennis Hopper should have let him just live there?
Absolutely.
Zombies are coming no matter what, because they're separate to that whole thing. This is the movie in which you're probably the most sympathetic to the zombies to a certain extent. There are poor people that live around the Green that you do feel for.
Classism, right?
Right.
So you've got the people with all the money, you've got the people who are basically living in the slum. When we meet Asia Argento, she is a prostitute. Our main guy saves her because they have put her into a
zombie fighting pit.
A zombie fighting pit, and usually they put in like a chicken or a pig or something apparently, but this time they decided to put in a girl. She pissed somebody off, and that's why she got in there. But he saves her, and he has this friend who's
an idiot but a great shot, and he's all burnt up, and they're going to go find John Leguizamo.
Yes, because John Leguizamo has stolen Dead Reckoning and is holding it hostage because he wants Dennis Hopper to let him come live in the Green. Whenever guys do stuff like this, it's never going to work out. It's never going to work out.
Sure.
But so they go to find him, and then they want to get the fuck out of Dodge.
John Leguizamo is not an antagonist. He's a guy that's a little self-serving.
Yeah.
But he relates to the Simon Baker character. They're friends, essentially, or friendly as they've worked together. They're essentially in this little militia together. They kill zombies together. He does get Dead Reckoning back, but John goes back to get revenge, but he gets bit. Mm-hmm. And his buddy is with him, and he's like, do you want me to shoot you now or just let you go? And he's like, I want to see how the other half lives. And then as the Fiddler's Green is being overtaken and Big Daddy's leading his zombie army and destroying everything and getting into Fiddler's Green, Dennis Hopper's character...
Come back, Mr. Kane! Come back here, you son of a bitch! You got the fucking keys!
Big Daddy, he pours the gas, he walks away, then John Leguizamo comes, right? Doesn't he get burnt up with him there?
I believe so,
Trying
yes.
to remember.
I think that's right.
But we see John Leguizamo as a zombie.
You're dead. Oh my God. You are dead. No, come on.
Get his revenge on Dennis Hopper, and then Big Daddy comes back with fire because he knows that, gas is combustible.
The other thing they have this big fence around the whole Fiddler's Green, and there's a river, but it's not deep, so it's more like a moat. I don't know if they've made it or what, but they think the zombies won't go through the water, and they think the zombies can't get through the fence. Well, the zombies get through all of it. They follow Big Daddy through the water.
They just walk along the ground through the water.
Exactly. And when he gets to the fence, he goes to the butcher guy who's always holding his axe, and he basically shows him the wall, and he hits it and has that guy. So he not only is reacting in the moment, he has a fucking plan. He is a functioning
He's a zombie leader.
But when the folks come back, they do bomb the whole area because they find that the zombies are now eating all of the people.
And they've adapted beyond the fireworks. They don't even look at them.
They don't even look at the fireworks.
So they're all evolving collectively.
Mm-hmm. So they bomb them, and there are some people who have survived, and they're left there to rebuild because our main character says, I'm fucking leaving.
And they leave, and that is Land of the Dead. I can't believe it didn't work out for the Fiddler's Green. Land of the Dead from 2005. It's not as good as the ones we've talked about before, but I still do like this movie.
I do too.
And I'm going to give it a 3.5.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Check it out. It's a B movie. Land of the Dead by George Romero from 2005. Sits between the movies Hamlet 2 and Love Actually. It's as good as those movies, if not better. The compliments end here as we go on to the next two with the next one, Diary of the Dead.
Two news agencies are reporting accounts of the dead returning to life.
What's that?
What was that?
You can't talk about it being an epidemic. Monsters being an epidemic.
What is this about, Jason?
This turns out to be a big thing. I just want to record it.
For this sort of failure, like government agencies, support organizations.
Look. It looks hurt.
It's all burned up.
The problem doesn't seem to be that people are waking up dead. The dead people are waking up.
It's not going down! Shoot in the head! No, please!
They're not getting the truth from anybody else. All that news is a pack of lies.
I'm dealing with this crisis.
Now. You gotta know that this might be bad.
I'm trying to get home to my family, okay?
Don't bury death. They'll shoot in head.
People start running out of food, water, gas. They're gonna start shooting at each other.
Trust somebody. What would you do? Kill us?
I think about it.
Maybe one of them got in already.
You're saying they're all dead?
Yes.
This is a hospital. There's nobody here.
This is a diary of cruelty.
Come on, before we get our asses shot off.
I can't do this anymore. Every time we walk in somewhere, somebody dies.
Diary of the Dead from 2007, directed by George Romero, written by George Romero, starring Michelle Morgan, Josh Close, Sean Roberts, Amy Lalonde. Cinematography, for what it's worth, by Adam Swicka. Cost $2 million, made $5.3 million. It had some money, but it's getting closer. I don't know why George didn't get... Land of the Dead did seem to make money, but I guess $2 million is not bad for... I mean, it's essentially... He's living in Canada. He would pass away in Canada in 2017, so I guess it's all based upon what he's pulling from there. Mm-hmm. But it seems like the studios were not as invested at this point. Diary of the Dead, it's utilizing tropes that George didn't make, in the sense that it's got that found footage quality, because the entirety of the movie is like a bunch of film students, and then the zombie apocalypse happens. So we're kind of back at the beginning in terms of the notion of how to deal with this as it's popping off.
Yeah, they do. At the start of the movie, no zombies, within minutes, they get the first news of a zombie.
So all these film students are making a mummy movie with their professor, and then the zombies start happening, and they end up having to get into an RV. And one kid is filming the whole time. I forget the kid's name.
He's the director.
Jason.
There are two kids that break off. There's this rich kid who is playing the zombie, and one of the girls who was helping. They break off and go to his parents' house, which is supposed to be like a fortress. Big rich kid out in the woods. The rest of them, they get in this RV with another girl and try to get home.
So the movie is like essentially a found footage style movie
with narration by the girlfriend,
where all of it is, and the conceit has to be that the guy holding the camera most of the time, there's another camera they find later, is that Jason has to be filming all the time, even when zombies are getting up and attacking. And from Day of the Dead and even Land of the Dead, we're getting a little bit back into the regression of zombies. There's a little bit of CGI here when things get a little bloody. And every movie has a scene of zombies just stopping to eat people, which is always great, except for the last movie. There's news footage when all this starts of like in an ambulance and people rising off the gurneys and attacking paramedics.
I don't know. She's moving on the freaking gurney, man. Get out of the way. Come on, get out of the way. There's a backup here.
Get off here! Are you all right?
Jesus. What the fuck is that?
Just keep still.
The other one's moving. The other one's coming up too.
The microcosm of America is supposed to be through media, right? And the characters say it in the movie that the media is lying, basically undertelling, but it's also speaking to the fact that when these media institutions that way too many people have faith in fall apart, it's going to be left to bloggers and shit like that.
Yeah.
And I like that concept, but I just don't think the movie represented the concept or executed it well. The movie boxes itself into a corner.
It does.
With its concept.
The bit at the beginning, she explains, was uploaded by the cameraman because he wanted people to see what really happened. Later, we see a cut of that same video put out by the news people that made it just appear as though these were people who just really weren't dead and they just attacked. There was no coming back from life. There was no eating of people. They really cut it to be only what they wanted you to see. Honestly, at that point, made no sense because people are
it seems like
dying and eating people everywhere.
A better way to execute the concept and understand budgets were limited is to maybe focus on actual news reporters going around the country, maybe have them corrupt and self-serving, and have their crew have to deal with being earnest about this, honest about this, or how to talk about this. And I think maybe that would have been a little more compelling than following around film students.
I think the problem, or the thing that maybe he was trying to do with the Jason kid is, 2007 at this point. And at the time, there was a real big conversation about, hey, put your fucking phone down.
Yeah.
It's still a thing, but that was when it started being kind of a problem where people would go to a concert, film the whole thing.
It's just before smartphones.
Yeah, it's like right at the start of that. And this idea of this is your life, fucking just experience it. But he has to capture every second of it. And the girlfriend Deb even says to him at one point, well, you didn't film it, so it didn't happen, right? It's not real unless you film it.
The acting here is not good. They are playing film students, but they feel like film students. And when they're giving their dialogue and they're trying to say their names, they're doing that like it's written like they should stutter their name or something, but it reads very plainly. And it's not like a fun bit of, it's not like the fun overacting of Day of the Dead. It's just like, these are young people trying to come up in the acting world. I'm not mad at them, but this movie, this whole execution, it all just fell kind of flat. And we do have black characters in this movie, but they're like a small enclave in, I think it's supposed to be in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania here as well.
They're basically a scavenger
mini militia
group. This is also day 2, and they've already siphoned all the gas out of the whole city. And his thing is, everyone else ran. We stayed because now we're in charge. We've never been in charge before. We're fucking in charge now. Also, it's day 2, and he says money doesn't mean anything.
Well, they end up going to their rich buddy's house near Philadelphia and to this manor, and come to find out this guy has his zombied family in the pool. There's a shallow end, right? They can climb. We've established that.
They climb out at the end. We see them climbing out at the end.
And there's this one zombie their friend turns into a zombie, and they hit him with a log, but they don't make sure he's dead. And that fucks everything up.
Well,
everyone fucking ends up getting killed.
Is the most infuriating scene because Jason is once again filming. The girl who was getting chased by the mummy at the beginning of the movie is getting chased by a real zombie. And you see her, I think she actually did really good in this scene for what she had to do, because she's begging him, fucking put the camera down and help me. This is not a movie. You're filming this, but I am really going to die if he catches me. Like, and there's this disconnect where it's more important for Jason to get the image than to even help his friend.
A movie that essentially puts itself into a corner away from its core concept, which is a good concept, but it just doesn't execute within that concept at all, or in any way that is particularly interesting, especially after you watch 4 other George Romero zombie movies that are actually really good with great statements on class in America and consumerism and all this stuff. This just fell a little flat. So
you do once again also get the actual military is bad.
Yeah.
In this movie, because they do get pulled over by some military guys at one point, who we will see in the next movie. We will see them again.
So I give this one a 2.
1.75.
Check it out. We don't have a lot of D's. D's nuts.
Got him! Got him!
But Diary of the Dead by George Romero, a rest between the made-for-TV movie Bill.
Oh, God!
And Friday the 13th, A New Beginning by Danny Steinman.
You know, I think that's appropriate.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of horror deep in its franchise. Definitely is going to hit the D's.
These nuts.
It's so sad when we do one of these 6-packs because it never gets better.
That's never. Never. You can only hope that half of it is good, and I think we did at least accomplish that.
Yes.
We're going into our last one. It doesn't get better.
No. Well, maybe a little bit better for me.
We forgot to mention the best character in Diary of the Dead was Samuel, the deaf Amish man.
Hurry. Why?
Oh, shit!
Lord.
They must have been following us.
Oh, my Lord.
3 of them. Tony, how many bullets you got left?
Where did he go?
Christ.
Jesus Christ.
I thought the Amish were friendly folk.
Who unfortunately dies in like the first 3 minutes of us meeting him. Therefore, yes, a D is appropriate. If Samuel had lived through half this movie, joined these kids, I would have gone up at least to mid.
Absolutely. It would have been a 2.5 easy.
Last time anyone counted, 53 million people were dying every year. 150,000 every day, 107 every minute. It had become an us versus them world. All we were looking for was a place where there was no them.
Lousy times make lousy people.
All the wrong people are dying.
This island needs to be rid of them.
We like it here. We think the best way of seeing this through is here.
We don't want no place. We want some place. Like where? Like an island.
It's an island off the coast of Delaware. Come on over.
Only families ever lived on this island were yours and mine. No strangers.
What are you gonna do with them?
They're Muldoons. It's up to me to save them.
You can't save a person who's already dead.
Somebody's gonna find a cure for this.
A beautiful place to live. And to die.
There's no way out.
Will one of you give me some more bullets for this gun?
Survival of the Dead from 2009, directed by George Romero, written by George Romero, starring Alan Van Spring, Kenneth Welsh, Kathleen Monroe, Richard Fitzpatrick, cinematography by Adam Swicka, cost $4 million. So the budget's actually higher here, but it made $386,000.
Ooh.
No. In this one, we have an island that are where half of the people are Irish. But it's an island off Delaware.
The coast of Delaware called Plum.
Yeah.
And only 2 families live there. 2 families that have been feuding. And there's 2 patriarchs.
And a man gets kicked off the island because he wants to shoot zombies, whereas this other guy, his rival, wants to keep them alive in case he can, they can come back or be fixed or cured or something. And while I'm definitely on the side of the guy that's like, they're dead, put them out of their misery, you do understand the emotional core of the other character and why he feels that way, because there's a little standoff with a family who have their kids or grandkids who turned into zombies that are chained up in their rooms. And also the man has a daughter that is kind of on the side of the guy he's opposing.
I don't want to go upstairs. I don't want to see what your boys become.
He ain't become nothing. He is still just and only my boy.
Don't do it, Beth!
She's alongside the guy who wants to see if there can be a cure for him. Mm-hmm. But I'm totally on the side of the guy who just wants to put the dead out of their misery.
I don't think...
But they exile him.
Yes, I don't think this island is the right place to figure that out. I do understand. There's a point later, though, where the man who wants to keep them explains, and this is creepy as fuck, he shows pictures of his dead relatives generations ahead of him or before him, and they're pictures of them all dead. And he says, we always took a picture of them after they were dead in a way to keep them with us. So that's all we're trying to do with our folks who are now the undead, is keep them with us. But what that turns into is he chains them up in a space where they're comfortable, I guess. Like his wife is chained in the kitchen. The mailman's chained to a mailbox. There's someone working the field. They can only move in about a 10 feet area. But it's that sense memory. They're doing what they remember doing.
So they exile this man, and his daughter does not go with him. And
right.
Him and a couple other guys, they get on a boat and they're gone. So we cut to the National Guard people, the military people that actually robbed the students in the last movie. It's a continuation of their story. And they see a video online of that guy that got exiled saying, hey, there's a great island off the coast of Delaware here. I mean, there's islands all over the East Coast, but whatever. Come on over. And it seems like he's trying to sabotage his old buddy.
He is. He literally says that. He's sending people over there to vex that man.
And really, there should be probably a lot more people than we get showing up here if this guy's saying all this, or everyone knows it's a trap. But the National Guard people do make their way over there. And it turns into this conflict where the old Irishmen don't trust them, so there's a bit of a shootout, and some people get shot up and stuff. And but a couple of people have to swim out to a ferry. One guy can drive the boat, and as he's driving, there's zombies in the water. We know they can walk in, and he bites off one of their fingers and spits it out, and that slowly is poisoning him and zombifying him. But it takes a lot longer than usual than he would if he was just bit. Mm-hmm. But they get the ferry, and then they negotiate. A few people have died, but they negotiate with what's left of the old man. His friends have died.
It's just the old man goes with them.
That they're all going to go on the ferry back to the island. And I did not mind this movie. I thought it was better than the last one until we got back to the island.
Yeah. The setup for this was pretty great. The characters even seemed pretty great.
Yeah. The acting is a little better. Even the first
part on the island.
Yeah.
Great.
The acting is a little better as well.
Immediately, I felt very much more confident that this was going to turn out a better film. But yeah, they get there and they immediately find a bunch of dead people, because what's been happening is, as soon as this old man sends people to Plum, old man who's now in charge of the island has some of his people just kill them dead right there. He just shoots them alive. He doesn't wait.
He won't shoot the dead. He shoots the living.
He only wants his family to live there, and any one of the other family has to turn on his side, like has to pledge loyalty to him.
Now, when we meet this guy at the beginning, we think he's wrong. We feel his desperation. We know it's coming from a soft point.
Mm-hmm.
When we get back to the island, discover he's just murdering all the living and none of the dead. He just comes off like this goofy island gangster at this point. Like his
now it's about power.
The sympathy is gone, which is what made the character interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Not that you agreed with him or not, but that he was sincere in his beliefs, and maybe he still a little bit is. But now he's just this like cornball antagonist. He reminded me of like a villain on the show Justified. I just watched the last season of that recently.
Yeah.
Like if an Irish guy came to Harlan County, hired some cowboys as bodyguards, and to get in on the moonshine biz or some shit like that. It was that kind of formulaic, right? And also his daughter is riding a horse.
The daughter of the man who was exiled.
Is riding around. She's zombified, but she remembers to ride a horse.
So the man who's in charge of the island right now, what he's doing is he's trying to teach the zombies to eat something other than people. And so he'll have a zombie in a pen with a pig for days and days.
This is his third day.
Must be getting hungry by now.
Put your hand near him and he'll bite it off. Dumb fuck in the barn's chewing on your head because it smells like a man. But we ain't had a dumb fuck yet try and take a bite out of that pig.
Yeah, well, maybe they don't like pig.
Sure, no disrespect, but we set out trying to keep these deadheads alive, and lately we've been shooting them down like these mad dogs.
And the zombie doesn't give a fuck about the pig. He wants to eat people. And so he, at one point, after all of this is coming together, there's a guy who was in love with the dead daughter who's riding the horse.
Sure,
whatever. We're about to run out of time, but we have to finish talking about this.
We don't meet this guy until halfway through the movie, but
and who cares about him? But they try to establish all these connections to make you feel something, and it just doesn't go anywhere. But he says to the guy, I thought we were trying to save these people, and we're just killing them constantly. Because they are. They're just shooting zombies in the head left and right. But he says, go get that girl. Because she seems like she's maybe smarter than the other ones. Maybe she'll eat something that's not a pig. Meanwhile, the militia folks are trying to get to him to kill him also.
There's secret twin here.
Yeah.
What is revealed is that the guy's daughter, we only see one daughter, and then she's a zombie when they get to the island. Oh, she had a twin. She had a twin. The one we saw at the beginning is the one who's still alive at the end, because it's the same woman who... But they never mentioned that they had a twin sister that was a zombie or was gone.
It's really dumb.
It's literally, I have a twin sister MacGuffin. From this point on, I'm out.
I know.
It's so contrived and foolish. I can't blame the actors. I'm sure when they read that, I was like, what, really? Like, some of the dialogue here is cornpoke as hell as well. But you got to figure they're like, well, this is George Romero, and I didn't get that CW job I was going for, so I'm here on Survival of the Dead. I'm an actor. I'm not going to question a guy who has at least 2 S tiers and an A and a B tier under his belt.
Well, and you know that lady wasn't going to argue having 2 roles in the movie.
George is like 66 years old in this movie. Yeah, look.
There was no reason or payoff to bring her back. If something had also happened, that there was like some big deal, his daughter being there wasn't. The only thing she did for the whole rest of the movie is she bought them their guns.
Oh, and one more thing. A couple more things. The living twin approaches zombie's sister like they're going to be cool. And when the zombie snaps at her, she's like, what the fuck? I can't believe it.
Bitch. And then shoots her. It's like, what do you think was going to happen?
But then the zombie sister takes a bite out of the horse that she never bit when she was riding it the whole fucking time.
Yeah. She hadn't even been in there long enough to be hungry necessarily.
All you're teaching him is how to eat whatever's in front of him. It's not going to stop him from eating humans. I don't know.
But that didn't even happen until after the men shot each other. So the 2 old men, they draw on each other. They both shoot each other. They both die. And the best part of the movie for me was at the very, very end.
When they're zombies.
They're zombies, and it shows this image that I actually think is gorgeous of the two of them standing there in a forever duel on this just open land with just this huge moon behind them, just clicking gun
empty guns behind each other
forever. Because guess what? They remember. You know what they remember? That they hate each other.
One great shot really stands out when there's, actually the shots of this movie are not bad, but yeah, that was the best one. It looks better because it's not some handheld camera in this fourth story, but the story might actually be worse overall when it's all said and done.
It is the brightest of all the movies.
I'm more mad at a movie that is decent and then completely shits the bed than I am at a movie that's mediocre the whole way through.
I get that.
I give this a 1.
Ooh. I wasn't quite as mad as you, but I understand. I'm giving this one a 2.
So it's a 3. That's an F.
I know. I figured it would be an F.
All right, our final selection. Check it out. Survival of the Dead hits the F tier. It seems like a lot of six-packs have to have at least one F tier, right?
Oh, yeah.
Rest between the movies Tammy by Bill Falcone and the documentary Super Size Me by Morgan Spurlock, yes, who passed away not too long ago.
Yeah.
But that doesn't change the fact that Super Size Me sucks.
No, and it really does.
Oh, apparently he was an alcoholic when he was making Super Size Me.
Yeah.
So all the liver tests he's doing in that movie,
it's all bullshit.
It's because people have actually recreated that and found that sometimes people lose weight. That actually, if you cut out the sodas, you actually might lose weight on that diet. Not saying it's good for you in the long run, but
no, but yeah.
But the movie, it was full of shit. Survival of the Dead, I wouldn't say full of shit, just bad. Maybe needed a rewrite there. But you know what, George? You're allowed to have a couple of shitty ones. You got 2 S tiers under your belt, bro. You got 2 S tiers, an A and a B. Your first 4 zombie films, very entertaining. And I think one thing that pissed me off about the last 2 is that they were totally interconnected.
Yes.
He's making it a point to represent certain eras and not making it like some shared universe, like a Marvel universe. It's like how they're dealing with it in different times. And Dire of the Dead and Survival of the Dead just led right into each other, and it didn't serve it. It was actually more refreshing that they were a microcosm in their own right, but we're all familiar in the sense of what all we had been dealing with.
The last 2 movies feel like a completely different situation.
It feels like, something that, George Romero has a lot of bad imitators and a lot of imitators in general, good or bad. And by the end, as it is with so many people in art, you got to be careful not to become, a bad version of yourself. But God bless him. He's still great. We still love him. I still would consider him one of, if not the greatest horror directors. I love me some John Carpenter.
Yes.
For sure. But George Romero, there's a lot. He's got plenty more great horror that's beyond just zombies, and he's fucking great.
Yeah.
Even the greats have some sub stuff out there, usually at the end, right? That said, that is our 6-pack. Stay tuned. Every weekday this month, a horror drop, one at a time. And then we're coming back with another 6-pack plus 1 because there's 7 Halloween movies left in the franchise.
We gotta finish.
I thought about doing H2O as its own episode, but it's like, no, I don't want to do that. So it's a 6-pack plus 1 at the end of the month. All right. And we finish off Halloween. All right.
Happy baker's dozen of Halloween.
Happy Halloween. And it's going to be a fun month. So let's ride off into the moonlight. Show notes, links, leave comments, like, subscribe, all that, and
happy Halloween!
Hello! Hello! Is anyone there? Hello? Hello? Is anyone there?
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
Stop it! You're ignorant.